Yo, what is good, everyone? Welcome to a special edition of the Renegade Roundtable podcast here. I am Jeffrey Kirby. As usual, we are joined by Jarryd. Jarryd, how in the hell are you?
Happy Thursday. I'm chilling. Let's go. I'm ready for mock draft.
We already got a comment from Hunter Osborne saying, I'm waiting on the roundtable. Well, damn it, the roundtable is here. Multiple levels because I'm also round as well.
I just had to close Parker's bedroom door because I can hear my mom downstairs yelling at somebody to get a rebound.
That was Hunter. Obviously, you guys have seen him on the podcast a few times. Hunter is back. Hunter, how in the hell are you?
I'm good, brother. Love the mock draft shows. Let's get it going, man.
This is me and Hunter. I wonder how many mock drafts we've done together. Because I was gonna say probably this might be like our 10th one together.
Yeah,
we've done quite a bit. And making his third mock draft appearance on the Renegade Roundtable podcast, we got Mr. Herbert, Jakob Herbert. Yes, I called him Jakob just because.
Jakob Pearl, that's crazy. Wow.
Herb, how in the hell are you?
I'm good. I just woke up about 30 minutes ago from taking a nap after some things. Came home after work and did some fun things, and then went to sleep.
I have one request for you, and can you please take those number 2 and number 9 jerseys down, please?
Absolutely not. That's the champions right there. 15-0 national
Mickey
champion.
Mouse champion, y'all cheated.
To be a Michigan Wolverine.
God, I'd win a national title if I got to play Michael Penis in the national title game. I'm just kidding.
And I just want to let everyone know that Ryan Blaney sucks. Welcome to our mock draft.
Jeez, this is not NASCAR talk now.
All right, first topic of the day. Who is coming out in the championship 4? Who do you guys have?
Let's see. When is qualifying again? No, I'm just kidding. No, obviously
Well, Jeff, actually, if I wanted to talk about instead of a mock draft tonight, I think we should talk about Joe Biden's State of the Union address. So,
goddamn, you put on some pounds on.
I hate you, Justin.
Oh boy. But obviously, yes, this is our mock draft 1.0 show. We always do this right after the combine. We didn't do a show last week because I had shit going on Thursday, but we are back. And it's time for one of our favorite shows of the year, the mock draft show. I mean, we'll go. We'll talk about the number 1 pick. I'm pretty sure. Well, actually, let me not say that because we all know how Hunter's going to go. I think we're going to kind of do another rotation. We'll actually have Jarryd start, then we'll go Hunter, then Herb, then I will finish last. So, Jarryd, you can start it off with the Chicago Bears.
The obvious pick is Caleb Williams, the quarterback out of USC. I think it's just the right pick. It should be the pick. Don't screw the pick. They should trade Justin Fields sooner rather than later, as the trade value is going down, I think, every day for them. But it's the right fit. I think it's just a consensus pick, in my opinion.
Yeah, hold on, Jeff. I'm trying to look at the kicker prospect rankings. No, I also have the Bears taking Caleb Williams at number 1.
Yeah,
I do.
We have a comment here saying, "Dog got a Blake Cum jersey and a Herbert jersey hanging." That's interesting.
Oh my goodness! So get him going.
Blake Cum and JJ McCarthy. I'll be damned.
Well, that's a good follow-up.
We all got Caleb.
I did not. I have JJ McCarthy first.
Oh my
God! There we go.
Just kidding. Yeah, I have Caleb.
I got Caleb too. I mean, we all know how this is going to go. Speaking of another quarterback that plays for Chicago, might as well talk about that for half a second because we are still a Pittsburgh podcast. So we got to involve that for a sec. Just overall, where do we think Justin Fields is legitimately going to go? Because that is still a major topic going on, and it's going to continue on. We hear reports that 1 second the Steelers are interested in him, and then someone else 2 seconds later, oh, the Steelers are not interested in any quarterback, and blah, blah, blah. We're hearing all kinds of wacky shit. So, real quick, do you guys think he ends up being a Steeler? Do you think he ends up a Falcon? Where do you guys end up thinking he goes?
I don't think he's a Steeler. He's definitely a Falcon in my eyes. Probably a Falcon. Maybe the Vikings. It's a long shot, but not really.
What about the Patriots?
I think I like him going to the Patriots. I think with Russell Wilson now a free agent, Pittsburgh's going to look more to try to get him on a minimum deal than trying to trade for Justin Fields and give up draft capital.
I think when the season starts next season, I think Justin Fields will be a Las Vegas Raider.
And we see Herb got some pussy in his.
Jesus.
All right, let's move on to number 2. Let's go to Washington here, where I guess quote unquote you could say the draft officially begins, but it may not be. But let's continue on. The Washington Commanders, Jarryd.
For me, it's pretty. I'm going Drake May. I'm just going by chalk right now. It's just the first 2 quarterbacks, first 2 easy picks. I don't think Jaden Daniels is gonna go to number 2 in my eyes. I just don't see it. I'm not good at these analyzing these quarterbacks personally. I'm just picking where they're gonna go to.
Yeah, I think I agree with Jarryd. I think number 2 is Drake May. I agree. I don't think I've seen enough yet to where I think Daniels will happen. I think it could happen, absolutely. Still got another month and a half, and I mean we've seen it before, but I think Drake May is the number 2 pick right now.
Yeah, so I kind of steered away from that. I got Jaden Daniels going number 2 overall to Washington Commanders. I just think Jaden's got the higher ceiling. I mean, Drake May, in my opinion, I'm not too high on Drake May. I don't like the tape. I don't like the film. I don't like the college he comes out of. I think he's a little bit overhyped, but I threw Jaden Daniels in there just coming off that hot season with all that star wide receiver that I think he could do great in Washington.
See, and that's why I said the draft might be beginning really now, and it may not be, because that was the exact reason. Could there be someone that says that Jaden Daniels could go number 2? And obviously Herb did. Now, obviously I went with Drake May here, but number 2 and what more than likely will happen with number 3, those could be interchanged. You could do that. And it was interesting that, Herb, that you said you didn't really like the tape. I actually really did like Drake May's tape a lot. I thought he was very good at anticipating throws. His deep ball is beautiful. He could beat you in all 3 areas. And I really, really liked him as a passer. And I think when we talked to Draft 412 with Joe over a couple weeks ago, he said that he thought that he had the highest floor out of the quarterbacks in this draft class. And that made me kind of agree with that as well. And I really like Drake May. It's just a matter of, can you keep him upright if you're Washington, whether it's a Jaden Daniels or a Drake May, because Drake May's taken a lot of sacks in his career and Washington's a shit show. So can they keep him upright and help build up that offensive line again?
Well, I think Washington's in a good spot.
Definitely. In a great spot.
We got here Drake May equals Sam Howell 2.0.
Just because it came out of North Carolina.
Justin been troll this whole time. This is going to be funny.
And I may just continue to entertain it just because it is hilarious. All right, number 3, the New England Patriots. The first draft without Bill Belichick in Hunter's lifetime and close to my lifetime as well. So.
Well, pretty much, yeah, for all of our lifetimes, yeah, I guess. But I'm gonna go with Jaden Daniels. This is the next quarterback off the board. I think the first 3 picks in the draft is gonna be quarterback. It might be a trade up scenario, but it's definitely Jaden Daniels will be with Jarryd Mayo. Right? He's the head coach for the Patriots. Yeah. But I listen. You should have put me first, but it's okay.
Yeah,
well, you get to go first, damn it.
Yeah, I have my first trade of the mock happening here. I have New England trading back to the number 8 spot. I have the Atlanta Falcons moving up to number 3 here, and I have the Atlanta Falcons taking. I swear to God, I don't know why my computer's going nuts right now, but I have the Atlanta Falcons taking Jaden Daniels here. I think the Falcons are kind of in a spot now. You bring Raheem Morrison. You have the weapons on offense. You have Bijan, Kyle Pitts, Drake London. You have these young weapons. You need someone to get the ball to them. I think there was a lot of chat last year about the Falcons possibly trading up for a guy like C.J. Stroud or Anthony Richardson, and it just didn't happen. So I don't think they wait around again. I don't think, like I was telling you and Jarryd earlier, Jeff, that I don't think Justin Fields is necessarily the needle mover that some people think he is. So I think they kind of take a swing here, and they're like, we're going to get our guy. So I think Jaden Daniels goes 3 to Atlanta here.
I agree with the swing. I don't agree with the trade. Now, hear me out.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
I have New England taking J.J. McCarthy. I think teams are starting to fall in love with the possibility of what he can become and the quarterback that he can be. I think teams are going to look at that raw talent that he has, how young he is, and his arm talent, and draft him in the top 5. And the last time there was a great Michigan quarterback on the board, he went to New England. I think they're going to look at that and try to grab JJ here at 3.
That is wild. I would not expect. I should have thought of that. You would said that. But I can't be mad at that. It's just crazy at number 3.
Yep.
Ooh. Wow.
All right, so number 3, I stuck with Jaden Daniels. Obviously, he's crazy athletic, Heisman Trophy winner, has good pocket presence, athletic as hell, goes through his progressions well. I do think that they obviously need to improve the offensive side of the ball badly. They were 30th in total offense, 31st in points per game. They were just god-awful. So why not go ahead and get your quarterback of the future and really try to build around that? And let's see how Jarryd Mayo and Hunter's old best friend, Alex Van Pelt, over there is a new OC of New England. So see what goes on over there with the new offense of Jaden Daniels. All right, let's move on to number 4, the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh, we already know who this is. I think everyone has him. It should be Marvin Harrison Jr., the wide receiver from Ohio, the Ohio State University. Probably the best player in the draft. If there wasn't a quarterback, he'd probably go number 1. Listen, I think the best probably a prospect in the draft. He would probably go number 1 if quarterback wasn't so needy, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. It's Marvin Harrison here at 4. You give Kyler Murray. I mean, like Jarryd said, the best prospect in the draft to me. I mean, a generational wide receiver prospect developed here. Remember that. You as diehard Ohio State fans like Jeff and I are. I mean, you can't, and even Herb as a Michigan fan. I mean, you can't say enough great things about Marvin Harrison as a prospect and as a player. If this wasn't such a QB needy draft at the top there, I mean, there's a good chance he's 2 or 3. He's just that damn good. So Marvin Harrison's a pick here, and anyone that takes him, you can't go wrong with it.
Can't go wrong.
I agree, but I don't have him here. He missed all his interviews. I have him sliding quite a bit down the line with the whole combine incident. I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I have Marvin Harrison here.
You have him going 20, don't you?
Yeah, I do have him at 20. No, I have him here at 4. I think he's probably, like you guys said, the top prospect in the draft. I love him and Brock Bowers. It's good to see him out of Ohio State, not playing in an Ohio State uniform anymore, that I can actually root for him. But I think he goes here, gets that money, wears his Louis Vuitton, whatever Roman Wilson said that Ohio State receivers only like to do is talk and wear their Louis Vuitton bags and don't want to show up to play.
Maybe if Roman Wilson wore more Louis Vuitton, he'd be round 1.
Well, Roman Wilson don't need Louis Vuitton when he's got the natty.
Natties don't matter in the NFL, Herb.
Mickey Mouse, by the way. I got Marvin Harrison Jr., obviously, the first non-quarterback to go. And Kyler Murray has to be happy as shit. They were 26th in passing offense last year, and they're saying that this could arguably be the best wide receiver prospect to come out since Larry Fitzgerald. And we all know where Larry Fitz went and how that went. So there you go. So if you're Arizona, you were looking for that star receiver again, and that's exactly what you get with Marvin Harrison Jr., the clear-cut number one probably prospect in this draft. Now the draft really begins because number 5 with the LA Chargers.
Man, you can go a number of ways here.
Yeah, you can go a number of different ways. And
I give for Jim Harbaugh, his first pick, a weapon. I give him Brock Bowers, the tight end out of the University of Georgia. I think they're going to run it back with all those receivers again. I don't think they're going to cut Keenan Allen. Mike Williams is going to probably stay in there another year. Why not add more firepower for Justin Herbert? Make this offense look great again. I don't think he's going to draft defense at all. I think it's definitely an offense, someone on the offensive side or a receiver.
Yeah, I also have the Chargers going with a weapon here with their new shit ass head coach. No, I'm just kidding. But I have them taking a weapon, but not Brock Bowers. I have them going with Malik Neighbors here. The thing is, if Marvin Harrison did not exist, Malik Neighbors would be the clear-cut number one receiver in this draft. And honestly, in previous drafts, if Malik Neighbors was in the draft, he'd be the number one receiver in that draft too. I think he kind of gets a little underrated because of how good Marvin Harrison Jr. is. But again, kind of like I said for Marv, Neighbors is a weapon that anyone would be lucky to have. And then you pair him up with Justin Herbert. Come on. Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are getting old. Keenan Allen is older already, and Mike Williams is going to be a Cleveland Brown in the next couple weeks.
Here we go.
So they're going to need to fill that void right there. And I think, Herbert to Neighbors is just a match made in heaven. So I think it's Malik Neighbors is the pick there at 5.
And I'll just piggyback off Jarryd. I also have Brock Bowers here at 5. If you look back at Harbaugh's offenses, he always has a great tight end. And why not bring in somebody like Brock Bowers, who excelled at Georgia, put him under the Harbaugh reign? And I honestly would like receiver here because Justin Herbert, like you guys said, he needs another weapon. Brock Bowers is a weapon, but he can only throw to the tight end so many times. You're going to need somebody who can really air it out on the outside. So at Malik Neighbors here, Rome Odunze, it's probably honestly the smarter pick to go wide receiver, but I think Harbaugh loves his tight ends too much that he's going to go with Brock Bowers.
I think if you break it down like this, so Herbert, you went with if you look at it, where could you get the second receiver in this class, or could you get arguably the best tight end prospect you've ever seen in this class? I think when you break it down like that, that's exactly what you do. You go and get yourself Brock Bowers. Like you mentioned, Jim Harbaugh's offenses always have great tight ends. You look back with Vernon Davis in San Francisco, they had him, and he was very good. He's able, receiving wise, he's great. Blocking wise, he's great. And they have neglected that tight end room a lot. Gerald Everett is fine, but why not get a tight end, again, who can receive, who can block, something that you really don't see much more in the NFL today. It's either you're really good at blocking or you're really good at receiving. You don't really get a guy that's great at both. That's exactly what you get. And I think he brings a whole different dynamic, even just overall the middle of the field as well for that Chargers offense. I think with Brock Bowers, you go with him. But the interesting part about Brock Bowers is you can see in mock drafts have him go as high as 5 or as low as 18. So his value is just all over the place, and it just depends on how badly you want to go after a tight end in the first round here, and that's the case. Obviously, we think that a couple of us believe that the Chargers are going to go with the tight end there. All right, number 6, the New York Giants.
Well, the Giants get their wish. They get Malik Neighbors at number 6. They need that wide receiver one really bad. I'm ignoring the rumors that Daniel Jones, might not be the quarterback. I don't know if you guys seen that popping all around. I think they get him another weapon, give Daniel Jones another year, another shot in this offense. They just need that dude, and Malik Neighbors is that dude.
Yeah, I also have the Giants going receiver here. Obviously I had Neighbors going the pick before, but I have them going Rome Odunze here. Rome's another one of those guys. I kind of think he's in the same boat as Neighbors. The receiver class this year is very, very good. And I don't think you can go wrong. Obviously, I prefer Marv over the other two, but I don't think you can go wrong with any 3 of them. And I think just depending on what the Chargers do at 5, I think the Giants either one of them is going to fall into their lap or they'll have their choice. And like I said, you can't go wrong. But in this case, Odunze is the last one standing, so I think he's the pick here at 6.
Speaking of players falling into the Giants' lap, I do buy into all the talk about Daniel Jones not being the quarterback of the future, them wanting to move on from him. So I have them taking Drake May. With him still on the board, the Giants cannot pass up a talent like Drake May at 6. He's everything the Giants want in a quarterback. I have them taking Drake May here, eventually succeeding Daniel Jones.
Well, I'm going to go with Jarryd here. I have them going with Malik Neighbors. They have 3 guys. You have Isaiah Hodgins, Darius Slayton, and Paris Campbell, which, if I'm not mistaken, Paris Campbell's a free agent. But they don't have like that dude at the wide receiver position. That's exactly what you get. And I think that's something that they've been really looking for. 31st in total in passing offense, 29th in total offense, 30th on third down. Now, you could make an argument that we could possibly see them shock us with a tackle here. Could it be Olu Fashanu or Joe Alt here? But I think in this case they go after a dog of a receiver, and they get like that alpha at the receiver position in Malik Neighbors. Move on to the Tennessee Titans.
Probably I think this is probably a lock, most likely. Joe Alt, the tackle from Notre Dame, is going to the Titans. Replace the left tackle. Easiest fit. I know I forgot the coach's name is not there anymore. Who's the coach there now for the Titans? I forget his name. Anyways.
Callahan.
Right, Callahan. Just need a tackle to protect Will Levis as the future quarterback for the Titans. Hope he does well, but I think it's not a sexy pick, but it's much needed.
Real quick before Hunter goes on, I just want to say screw the State of the Union address. We have that going on right now currently in our chat. So the Renegade Roundtable State of the Union is better than the presidential one. So there you go.
Especially when a 15-year-old's involved. So, I agree with Jarryd here. I mean, it's got to be Joe Alt. I mean, let's be honest here. I mean, the left tackle spot for Tennessee over the last couple of years has been kind of shit. Mm-hmm. They gave up the 4th most sacks in the NFL last year. So they need to do whatever they can to improve that offensive line, and drafting Alt and putting him at left tackle next to Peter Skoronski kind of solidifies that left side of the line for them. Mm-hmm. So I think Tennessee is kind of in a weird spot. I don't think they've necessarily, committed to the rebuild, but they're kind of getting there. So at this spot, I think you beef up the offensive line and see what you can do for Will Levis for the future. So yeah, I think Joe Alt's the pick here, and I like Jarryd said, I think it's not a sexy pick, but it's the right pick.
And we'll go 3 for 3. I've got Joe Alt here as well. Like you guys said, pair him next to Peter Skoronski. That solidifies the left side of the line. Get whoever their quarterback is going to be. Will Levis as somebody in free agency. So just the ability to be able to have protection up front. You can get receivers later in the draft. This receiver class is just so stacked. You can get talent in the 2nd round. You can get talent in the 3rd round. Take Joe Alt. You're not going to get somebody like him in the 2nd or 3rd round, and you might as well grab the best tackle on the board if he's still up there at 7.
So we might as well go ahead and clean sweep this. This is Joe Alt for me as well. This was, a toss-up between him and Fashanu, but I went with Joe Alt because, in my opinion, I think that Joe Alt is better. And now this is a legitimate discussion that you can have, where I personally thought that Joe Alt was better. But then again, going back to the conversation we had with Joe over at draft412.com, he said that he has Fashanu is better. So you can make the argument there, and it's a legitimate argument. I just think, to me, that Joe Alt just brings a nastiness that Fashanu doesn't. He has experience. He's played over 2,000 snaps in his career, and he's able to anchor down in pass pro. And they've been looking for that tackle that they've had since our buddy Taylor Lewan, Jarrod's favorite player. So they've been looking for the left tackle like a Taylor Lewan again, and I think they get someone to anchor down that left tackle position for the next decade. Mm-hmm. Number 8, the Atlanta Falcons.
The Atlanta Falcons, this is the first defensive player.
No, Harry Ock, I do not.
No, okay. It's first defensive player is Dallas Turner, the edge from Alabama. I think really, I don't think they go quarterback. I think they really are going to trade for Justin Fields. This is why I went with a defensive player. They need pass rusher help. They need help to sack the quarterback. They had Bud Dupree. They had I forgot his other name as well that's on defense, but not producing enough. They need help on that line.
Yeah, so for me, at this pick, obviously the Patriots and my mock are picking here after the trade with Atlanta. And with the 8th pick, I have the New England Patriots taking J.J. McCarthy. Look, I'm going to be honest here. As much as I do not like J.J. McCarthy as an Ohio State fan, I do think J.J. McCarthy is going to be a solid quarterback in the NFL. I really do, if he goes to the right situation. I think New England, they aren't what they used to be. But I still think overall it's a solid spot for a rookie quarterback to start off. I mean, he's horrible now, but we saw the rookie year Mac Jones had. If you get the right personnel around him.
Jacob is living in a strip club right now with all the pussy around.
Yeah, I can't believe I can't believe I'm saying this, but I do think JJ McCarthy is going to be a solid NFL quarterback, and you're the Patriots. You trade down from 3 to 8, get some extra picks, and still get the quarterback that you'd like to get.
And yeah, with here I have another offensive player with the Atlanta Falcons. Malik Neighbors is still on the board. You have to grab yourself a wide receiver like him.
Wow.
Now you add some weapons. So you got Malik Neighbors, like you said, Drake London. You got Kyle Pitts at tight end, Bijan Robinson. I think they get Kirk Cousins in free agency, and that immediately upgrades that offense.
Wow.
I think they might actually have an offense that can produce numbers and push the ball down the field next season if they get Kirk Cousins. And if you just add Malik Neighbors into that mix, their offense looks drastically better than it did last year.
If you add Kirk Cousins and Malik Neighbors to that Falcons offense, I think they're easily one of the best offenses in the NFL.
On paper.
On paper.
Yeah, on paper.
Come on. With the way, I mean, obviously Kirk coming off an injury, yes. Yeah. But with the way he was playing before he was injured last season, I mean, gives you, if you're a Falcons fan and that happens, it gives you a lot of hope for next season.
So I got to agree with Jarryd here. I also have them going with Dallas Turner here, the first defensive player going at pick number 8. And I questioned whether they might possibly take J.J. McCarthy here, but I think at the end of the day, I decided I think they're going to go after either Kirk Cousins, Justin Fields, someone like that. So I also had thought about possibly giving them a corner, whether it was Terrion Arnold, Nate Wiggins, or even possibly Quinion Mitchell, where me and Herb had talked off air before about, is there the chance that somehow Quinion Mitchell could possibly turn himself maybe into a cornerback 1? I mean, there is a chance for that. I mean, we saw last year Devin Witherspoon ended up being cornerback 1, and I don't think a lot of people saw that coming.
Nope.
But I also look at it as they need a pass rusher badly. They were 21st in getting to the quarterback last year. So I just think pass rusher was a huge need. Raheem Morris is their new head coach, defensive minded, of course, and I think he's going to want to help build that defense. So I have them going with the first defensive player off the board at pick number 8. All right, number 9, the Chicago Bears.
With the 9th pick, I got the Chicago Bears taking Rome Odunze still on my board to help Caleb Williams out. You got DJ Moore on the one side. You got now Rome Odunze on the other side. It's a pretty good start for your offense.
Yeah, so here I got the Chicago Bears taking Dallas Turner. This is where the first defensive player comes off on my board. You saw today they just locked up Jalen Johnson, Montez Sweat. So on the other side of Montez Sweat, you get Dallas Turner and kind of set your edges there. And, I think if you're the Chicago Bears and you're walking away with Caleb Williams and Dallas Turner, I think you'd be very, very happy. So Dallas Turner is my pick there.
Jarryd, just to piggyback, I also have Rome Odunze here. I think if you get another receiver for Caleb Williams, you get Rome to pair up with DJ Moore. I mean, the tight end group is already solidified there in Chicago. You get somebody who can help him in his first year of offense, get the ball down the field. Rome Odunze, you just can't pass him up. I think him and Malik Neighbors are 2A and 2B. I think they're interchangeable. Both of them are really great. But, yep, I have Rome here.
I have to agree. I also have them going with Roma Dunze. You had thought about possibly could they go with a corner here, but that was before Jalen Johnson got locked up. So now I think that kind of gets put on the back burner just a little bit. So when you come out in a draft with Caleb Williams and then Roma Dunze, I think in that case that helps your offense out tremendously. And with Darnell Mooney being a free agent as well, I think that leaves a huge hole for that wide receiver 2 spot. And Adunze is a guy, he's going to be able to elevate that passing game a lot and help out Caleb Williams day one for Matt Eberflus in that offense. All right, number 10, the New York Football Jets.
The Jets are definitely taking Olu Fashanu, the tackle, from Penn State, because Kirby's favorite word on the left side is that Dwayne Brown is how old? How old is Dwayne Brown?
Dwayne Brown is about 99 and a half years old. That's
99 years old. So replace him. Should help out Aaron Rodgers. Hopefully he stays on the field more than 5 minutes, hopefully, next season.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as Jarryd here. I have the Jets taking Olu. Dwayne Brown is not to be dramatic, but he's getting real old. So,
he should be in the Smithsonian.
Yeah, and especially we saw how dramatic Aaron Rodgers' season ended last year.
Yeah,
getting him more protection up front, I think, is the biggest thing. And their offensive line's been kind of subpar. And when you have a defense as good as the Jets have, you got to invest everything in that offense and do whatever you can to protect Aaron Rodgers. So, I think Olu's the pick here.
So I also have tackle, but I have Talicia Fuaga out of Oregon State going here. I just like him better as a prospect than Olu Fashanu. I'm not too high on Olu. Don't ask me why. I just think Talicia Fuaga had a great that might be, and I'm a little biased towards Penn State players, but I think Fuaga had a great Senior Bowl. He really put his name out there. He showed up. And I think the Jets take Fuaga here. It's just a match made in heaven. As long as they don't get jumped like they did last year for Broderick Jones, I think they can grab either of those, Fashanu or Fuaga, and walk away with a great player.
I have them going with Olu Fashanu as well. I just think they gave up the 4th most sacks last year, and it's just they need help on that offensive line badly to help out Aaron Rodgers. And just overall, I don't think you could ever go wrong with getting a tackle here. So I think that's what I have them going with is Olu Fashanu. And by the way, I'm pretty sure Jarryd hacked into my Google Docs account because it seems like me and him have had a lot of similar picks. So I'm convinced that he hacked into my Google account.
No. Number 11, the Minnesota Vikings. I wanted to put corner here because they'll always pick corner. But I went with edge Jarryd Verse. They just need someone on the defensive line to produce sacks. I'm sure they're probably at the bottom towards sacks. I don't know how their defense is towards, but every time they pick a corner, it's wrong. And I'm not giving them another corner this year.
Yeah, I don't think there's a more unhealthy relationship than the Minnesota Vikings and taking corners in the first round.
I know one. It's the Cleveland Browns and receivers.
You do know you drafted Kenny Pickett in the first round, right?
We ain't talking. Oh, you want to talk about relationships at quarterbacks? You guys could go there too. So
we have Joe Flacco. Thank you very much.
Or you don't.
Jeff, you're gonna have to help me pronounce his name. Is it? You know who I'm talking about. I got Latu. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah, Latu.
Okay, wow. I think we got it right. Same reason as Jarryd. I mean, same idea, different player. I mean, the Vikings were bottom 6 in the NFL last year in sacks and in pressure rate, and that's with Daniil Hunter too. And the Vikings just on the defensive side of the ball, they need as much help as they can get. So I think at edge, like I said, pressure rate and sacks were low. Get Brian Flores his edge rusher, and I think they'll be making good progress there.
I do agree. I've got Leatu Latu going here as well. Like just what you guys have said, they need an edge rusher. They need defensive players to get to the quarterback. They were bottom 6, like you said, in sacks. I think they need more pressure. And the cornerback, I get the cornerback class is deep, so go there in the second round. Don't waste a first round pick on a corner if you are the Vikings. It's not going to turn out well for you.
No, it's not.
So you guys went 3 for 3 on defense. I went with offense here, and I actually went with JJ McCarthy. I think they're going to be more like they're obviously moving on from Kirk Cousins, and they need to get younger there. And JJ is someone who's been a winner. He's only lost 1 game in his career, and he's going to be a very nice addition to that offense. And now, obviously, you can't rule out a pass rusher with Daniil Hunter being a free agent. They were just not good at being able to get to the quarterback. However, I think JJ in this case, in my mock draft, they kind of got lucky and he fell right into his lap. And I think that's the kind of offense that he's going to be able to work perfect in. Again, me and Herb have talked about this before off air. And remember, I think it was back in January, and we had this discussion about where do we think that McCarthy could go and where he could be. And I went back then and I said Minnesota I thought would be a perfect team for him to go to just because of scheme fit. And I think in this case, Minnesota gets really lucky and they get the quarterback of their future. Mm-hmm. But he won't be good there because he's a Michigan guy. Number 12, the Denver Broncos.
Well, I put J.J. McCarthy here to the Denver Broncos with Sean Payton. Pair them up together. I'm sure it might work out, so it might not. But I don't think I don't know what the Broncos are going to do with the quarterback position. They could go for Justin Fields as well. It's a really – the top, maybe Kirk Cousins, but I think they're going to go through the draft and get a quarterback, whoever's there at that number 12, or even trade up possibility.
Yeah, I have the Denver Broncos going defense here. I have the Denver Broncos taking Quinion Mitchell, the corner from Toledo here. And let's be honest here. I mean, Quinion Mitchell had a hell of a Senior Bowl. He had a hell of a combine. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's just raising his draft stock day by day. And you know, when you get a chance, when you're the Denver Broncos, who kind of, you know, in my case here, you know, the 3 guys, the 3 top guys, McCarthy, May, well, 4 top guys, Daniels and Williams are all gone. I don't think they'll reach here for Bo Nix. But, I mean, you never know. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I think you get Quinion Mitchell here opposite of Pat Surtain. And, yeah, I think
that's nice. It's nice.
Good start to the secondary for the Denver Broncos.
I agree. I also have Quinion Mitchell here. He is my CB1 of the class, but I mean, just to double down on what you said, he had a great Senior Bowl. He had a great combine. He's just slow. I mean, he's quickly rising up draft boards, and I think there's going to be a day before April where people will solidify him as CB1. I like him better than Terrion Arnold. I like him better than Kool-Aid. I like him better than Nate Wiggins, and I think people are really starting to realize that this dude is going to do damage in the NFL, and if you pair him up with Patrick Surtain, good luck throwing on that Denver defense.
I also have them going with corner, but I don't have them going with Quinion Mitchell. I actually have them going with Terrion Arnold here. They were not a good defense last year, 29th in total defense, 27th in points allowed, 29th in yards per pass allowed. Now, obviously, their edge rushers in 2024 are not looking promising either. So you could possibly maybe have them go with an edge rusher here, but I think you help out your secondary and you get with between him and Patrick Surtain. I think that ends up being one of the better 1-2 punches in the NFL at the cornerback position. Number 13, the Las Vegas Raiders. Let's see what bust they're going to draft because it seems like they draft a bust every year.
So unfortunately for the Raiders, I think this is such a Raiders pick. Is Terrion Arnold, the corner from Alabama? I think this is probably one that's going to fit with Antonio Pierce's defense. They need help all over on defense. I don't know what they'll do on offense. Maybe get Russell Wilson, but I just think defense is more of a priority.
Yeah, I also have the Raiders going with Terrion Arnold here. Like Jarryd said, I mean, this organization, this defense is just a shithole right now. Mm-hmm. Corner, I mean, the Marcus Peters experiment failed horribly. Yep. Nate Hobbs can't really stay healthy.
Nope.
And other than that, it's pretty brutal. So I think Terrion Arnold's a pick here for the Raiders.
So I also have another defensive player, but I'm starting up front. I've got Johnny Newton out of Illinois, defensive line. If you're going to build for the Raiders, you got to start with interior, somebody who can get to the quarterback, not have to rely on Max Crosby 24/7. Get him somebody who can get back there and get some sacks. That way Max Crosby doesn't have to do everything for that defense.
So I also went with secondary, but I actually went with Nate Wiggins here. And the reason why is I think when you think of a Raiders player, you think of someone who is fiery as hell. And that is exactly who Nate Wiggins is. Antonio Pierce is going to want someone who brings energy, who has some fire into him. And Nate Wiggins just does that. And he needs someone to help bring a new standard. And this is a very important pick for Antonio Pierce and Tom Telesco, their new GM who came from LA. And so I think they really need to work on that secondary. And I think they get someone that just is a match made in heaven in terms of who they want in a player. And so that's why I have them going with Nate Wiggins there. Number 14, the New Orleans Saints. And this is the team that I would not be surprised if we had 4 different players.
I think it's just with the New Orleans Saints, don't know where to go here with this pick. So I went with not the sexy pick. I went with Tyrese Fuaga, the tackle from Oregon State, just to help out the offensive line and help Derek Carr for another year. I don't think they'll go. I don't know. I hope they don't go quarterback, but it's just not a sexy pick just to protect Derek Carr.
What's he drinking, Herb? Is that Arnold Palmer?
Yes, sir.
Hey, it is the Arnold Palmer class or the Arnold Palmer Invitational this weekend too.
Oh my goodness! God, get away from the TV, Jeff. Well, what you said before the pick about us having 4 different players, it's not going to happen because I also have Fuaga going here to the Saints, and like Jarryd said, they've invested a lot of resources in this offensive line over the last couple of years, and it just hasn't panned out. So it's just keep trying until it works.
Yep.
So yeah, I think Tyrese Fuaga is the pick here. Just bolster the offensive line, and Andres Pete, if they bring him back, I mean, he's kind of just like a Band-Aid, just covering up the issue for now. And Ryan Ramchek's just getting older.
Yeah.
His knees aren't are as great anymore. So I think you go offensive tackle here. You go Fuaga.
I agree with the offensive tackle. I've got Olu Fashanu here from Penn State. I mean, like you guys said, just build on that offensive line until you hit on a home run. They've spent so much time on it, and it just has not panned out. They need somebody in there that can really block for whoever they have at quarterback next year. If it being Derek Carr again, if it's somebody else, get somebody in there that can protect them.
So I actually went with the defensive side of the ball. I went with Jarryd Verse here, the defensive end from Florida State. 28th in sacks. That's just not going to cut it. Cam Jordan is just getting older, and you can't continue to rely on him in terms of being able to get to the quarterback. And so I think they get younger there on the opposite side of the ball, and they go with Jarryd Verse. And you have 2 bookends over there to help out get to the quarterback. Number 15, the Indianapolis Colts.
I like this pick that I made for the Colts. I think it's a great fit for them. Brian Thomas Jr., the wide receiver from LSU. I don't think Michael Pittman's coming back. I think he's probably going to go somewhere else.
He got tagged.
Oh, he got tagged? Well,
he got tagged.
When was this? Yesterday?
It was a couple days ago.
That's how I don't pay attention. But I think it's a replacement then for Michael Pittman Jr. then, because they need another wide receiver besides Michael Pittman.
Jarryd, did we YouTube the same mock draft?
No.
No, I'm just kidding. Because I also have Brian Thomas Jr. in there. We've had a couple of the same picks in a row. It's kind of creepy. I think you're tapping into my computer. But no, I also have Brian Thomas Jr. going here. I think, like you said, Jarryd, I even think with or without Pittman, that receiver room is kind of it's unproven. Josh Downs and Alec Pierce, they definitely showed flashes last year. But for a young quarterback like Anthony Richardson, who needs all the support that he can get in Indianapolis, I think you need to go out and get him as many playmakers as possible. So, yeah, I think Brian Thomas Jr. is the pick here. And I also think Brian Thomas Jr. is going to be really solid. I think it's another case of, like I was talking about some of the other guys, kind of get overlooked because of some of the other bigger names. But I think Brian Thomas Jr., I mean, we saw him at the Combine. He had a great Combine. I mean, what was his 40? 4.33, I think, or 4.35, something like that.
Yeah, still for a
he
big
ran
man.
low to mid 4.3s. I mean, I think Brian Thomas Jr. is, I think he was a good prospect, or solidified himself as a good prospect going into this, but I think the combine just helped it out even more. I think the Colts are a great spot for him.
I agree. I think the Colts are here with a great spot. I don't have Brian Thomas, but I have them going defense with Terrion Arnold. Their defense in that secondary was atrocious last year, with the bottom of the league and allowing 5,000 or not 5,000, allowing a lot of yards per game and per year. I think that secondary needs to be beefed up. Get a guy like Terrion Arnold in there for Indy. Wide receiver class is so deep. I don't think you need to waste the 15th pick on a wide receiver. I like Brian Thomas, but if your top need isn't wide receiver, then grab somebody who you can get here that can change that defense up.
I went with Leatu Latu, the edge rusher from UCLA, and I had contemplated going corner here, but I decided to go with the edge rusher here. And it's crazy. I mean, they broke the franchise record for most sacks last year, but they don't have that alpha at that position in terms of an edge rusher. When you have a division, when you have a bunch of young quarterbacks, I think you have to be able to get pressure on them. And I think a pass rusher here in Leatu Latu is a greater need than either a corner or a receiver. So I think in this case, you have to go after a pass rusher. Number 16, the Seattle Seahawks.
16th pick, Seattle Seahawks takes Byron Murphy, the defensive tackle from Texas. The Seattle's run defense is awful. I think he's probably the best defensive tackle probably in this class, so I'm going to have him there, call it off the middle.
Yeah, I have Seattle going on the other side of the ball here. I have them going with some of your guys' man crush, Jackson Powers Johnson. I have, when you look at the Seattle team, they got Geno, they got their playmakers. They need to beefing up the offensive line a little bit. I also agree with Jarryd that the run defense was horrible and that they can go that route as well. But, I think you look at a guy like Jackson Powers Johnson, who has the versatility to play guard, play center. And we all know how John Schneider loves drafting offensive linemen in the first round. So, yeah, I think Jackson Powers Johnson is the pick here. And God, I love it when they do that. So I can see Jeff Kirby's tears.
For Seattle specifically, so they don't pick Jackson Powers Johnson, I have them going Jarryd Verse, getting somebody on that defense like an edge rusher, like you guys said. They need that defense to get back to the quarterback, get somebody in there. I actually, before Jarryd Verse before he decided to come back for another year, had him mocked to Seattle last year in a really, really early mock draft. I just love that fit with Jarryd Verse going in there to Seattle. I think it's perfect and doesn't allow them to take Jackson Powers Johnson.
I also have them going with an interior defensive lineman, but I have them going with Johnny Newton, the defensive tackle from Illinois. They were awful against the run. They were 31st in run defense and 27th in yards per rush. And they were also 31st on third down. And they went back end last year with Devin Witherspoon. So why not help out your interior defensive line and get someone like Johnny Newton? And I think that's just, to me, I think them going defensive tackle is a lock. It's just a matter of who. Number 17, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The Jaguars, they need help a lot of places, but corner especially. I gave him Quinyon Mitchell still on the board. Goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars. A great fit. They cut another. I forgot the corner's name. I forgot his name. But anyways, they lost another corner, and because of cap casualty, helps out the defense. And I know the one Jags fan, he said, "Give me a defensive player. Give me a corner."
All right, so we'll have them draft a quarterback. We'll have them draft Bo next.
I'll take Trevor Lawrence. They didn't trade him to Cleveland. Yeah, I also have
you could be asked too there.
Anyways, I also have a corner going here. I got Nate Wiggins going here to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like Jarryd said, I mean, they just cut Darius Williams. I think they're really committing to this man scheme, and I think Nate Wiggins fits it very well. I think he's the best corner available at this point, and Nate Wiggins had a nice combine too. So I think Nate Wiggins is the pick here, and I think it's a nice pick for the Jags.
100% doubling down on that. I have Nate Wiggins here as well. I mean, I think the writing's on the wall with the release and the cap casualties at the corner position for Jacksonville that they have to go corner in the first round.
I think Jarryd again stole a pick from my Google Docs that he hacked into. So I also have them going with Quinny Mitchell. 26th gets the pass. That obviously needs to be addressed, and just somewhere on that defense. And again, I just have them going with someone. And in this case, if Jacksonville were to somehow get Quinny Mitchell at 17, that feels like such a steal. And if you're in that organization, you have to be ecstatic. And if you're one of the 17 Jaguars fans that exist, you have to be ecstatic as well. So, number 18, the Cincinnati Bengals.
The Bengals go with a tackle, Troy Fautanu, the tackle from Washington. Just plain and simple, protect Joe Burrow. Their tackles have not been working at all with free agency. Hopefully this draft pick works. And that's my basic need for them.
Actually, I hope he doesn't work out again.
Well, of course not. Come on now.
I feel as a collective here, as all being in the AFC North and being fans of the AFC North, I feel like we're all going to hate this pick. I have the Cincinnati Bengals taking Brock Bowers here at 18. Obviously, he slid a lot farther down than you guys had him going. But, I think, honestly, if he doesn't go 5 to the Chargers, I think there's a solid chance he falls. Just because some of these teams aren't as needy at tight end or just that they need a different position. So I had Brock Bowers falling here, and it was tough because while I was doing this, I was like, okay, I didn't have him going 5. So I was trying to find out maybe where he could go in some of these mocks, but I have him going. I hate it. But I mean, imagine an offense with Joe Burrow, Brock Bowers, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. I think we're all kind of splitting ourselves for next year a little bit too, especially if you have your team running Kenny Pickett out. So.
Let's give you Russell Wilson because
here you go.
let's ride. Real quick, I want to say something with Hunter about the tight end. I think another team that you would be able to watch out for is number 15, the Indianapolis. I think that'd be another team that could possibly be interested in getting a tight end as well, depending on how the board goes for them. All right, Herb, take it away.
Yeah, and like you said, Hunter, I ran through a couple mock drafts, and I struggled trying to find a spot if Brock Bowers didn't go at 5. Unfortunately, in this draft, he did go at 5, so I had the Bengals going with Troy Fautanu, the tackle out of Washington. But I think if Brock Bowers does find a way and end up in Cincinnati, it's nightmare scenario for teams in AFC because you're adding Joe Burrow, another weapon. If Joe Burrow can stay healthy, that offense is going to be absolutely scary, and that's not something I really want to think about.
No.
I have them going with Tyrese Fuaga, the offensive tackle from Oregon State. They simply need help badly on that offensive line. They had the worst run offense in the NFL. They were 32nd there, and just simply protect Joe Burrow at all costs. It's just simple as that. Simple as that. Protect Joe Burrow, get offensive line, and that's all you can do. Number 19, the LA Rams. And for me, Jarryd, and Herb, we will. This is when our stomachs start to feel a little something. I got a big stomach, so I'll be feeling a lot in that.
I like this pick for the Rams. I went with Cooper DeJean, the cornerback from Iowa. I like his versatility to play pretty much anywhere on that back end, and I think it would fit perfectly with Sean McVay and for that defense.
As Hunter drinks out of his basic bitch Stanley.
Okay. All right, Jeff. Who went and got Starbucks the other day?
Oh my!
Not
That's
me.
what I thought. Anyways,
Not me.
I have the Rams going with Jarryd Verse here. I think edge is something that the Rams need to prioritize here. I mean, let's be honest here. In last year's draft, they hit on Kobe Turner and Byron Young. But again, I think the edge position is what they need to prioritize here, and Jarryd Verse is in that best player available kind of range. And I think Jarryd Verse is one of those guys that you can see. There's a little bit of range of where he could go. But I have him going here to the Rams. So
Yeah, I have another defensive player going to the Rams here. I've got Byron Murphy out of Texas. Get somebody up there that can really beef up that defensive line. Not that it isn't already beefed up as it is, but you add a guy that can pair up with Aaron Donald. You got that guy last year, similar name, Byron Young, out of Texas, I believe. You get more. You just add more depth to that defensive interior, and it's just Aaron Donald with two guys paired with him. It just makes that defensive line scary.
Once again, Jarryd, I'm at this point, I am truly convinced.
Okay.
Because I also have them going with Cooper DeJean here.
He wanted me to go first. Just let everybody know.
So I actually had talked to someone who was a big Rams fan and who's a media member that covers for the Rams. And I asked him, I said, what are your thoughts on this pick? And well, he straight up said flat out, he doesn't think Cooper DeJean is going to be there at 19. But if he was, then he would be ecstatic if this happened. Obviously, in this case, I do have them going. He is available, and I do have him going here. It's a match made in heaven. They need a safety with both Jordan Fuller and John Johnson being on expiring deals, but they also need a corner. So I think it's a guy that gives you flexibility that you could be able to play him all over the damn place. And I think this is just a match made in heaven for the LA Rams. And here we go.
Man,
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Really had.
We see the Wicked Witch of the West, aka Queso's little brother, back there.
Oh my God.
Parker had such fun doing the State of the Union in our comment section that he had to come up here and sit in here. So
I really had a tough decision at 20, picking between these two players. I'm sure everyone would know. I picked Amarius Mims, the tackle out of Georgia. I think that with the Steelers, personally, they're not. I think they're going to sign someone in free agency with the center position. Personally, it'll be on the lookout. Maybe like Aaron Brewer, the center from the Titans, is one of them. Maybe Connor Williams, but I think put Broderick Jones on the left side, but Marius Mims on the right side. You're protecting your whoever future quarterback fits Kenny Pickett, Russell Wilson, or Justin Fields, whoever it is. I think it's a great fit for the Steelers.
Well, Jarryd, the all of those quarterbacks you mentioned there, the Steelers could potentially have.
I said potentially. Yeah, I said potentially.
None of those guys are the one that I have them taken here at 20. Oh. And I have the Pittsburgh Steelers taking Spencer Rattler. No, I'm just kidding. I have the Steelers taking Amarius Mims. Let's be honest here, guys. I'd be lying to you if I said I'm not at least kind of worried going into this year about how well your guys' run game thrived the last half of the year. I don't know if that was just a product of Broderick Jones, but if you get another strong tackle in Amarius Mims, I mean, it could really take off. Najee Harris can really turn into what you guys thought he'd be when you drafted him. In a small sample size, we've seen what Jaylen Warren can do. I'd be honest with you guys. I mean, you guys have a great running back duo there. If you guys can somehow figure it the hell out at the quarterback position, you guys are going to be a force to be reckoned with. And, I have no shame saying that. You will have to face Deshaun Watson twice a year, so I do feel bad for you guys about that.
I ain't worried about that.
We ain't worried about the sex spread.
I think – watch it. I think Mims is the pick here. I think in offense, it has to be a tackle. I just feel like if it's not Spencer Rattler, which I think it could be. So, Marius Mims is my pick here.
There are actual Steeler fans who say that they want the Steelers to draft Spencer Rattler at some point in this draft, too. There are actual Steeler fans who say that. But yet again, a lot of those Steeler fans are just complete morons. So,
Can I ask you a question real quick before we go on?
Okay.
If you guys draft Mims here, or just like a tackle, Jackson Powder, if you guys came back in the second round, drafted, say you don't get Russell Wilson, say you don't get Justin Fields, say maybe you sign Ryan Tannehill, one of those, and say you draft Michael Penix in the second round. What do you think about that? Just out of curiosity, say you go tackle in the first round, the second round, you're like, let's take a flyer on Michael Penix.
The thing is, I don't think they would with the more needs we have in the second round.
That's fair.
I agree with the Kenny Pickett, Ryan Tannehill, Michael Penix Jr. quarterback room. I think that's worst case scenario. I mean, it can't get much worse than that. And
I'm not a fan of Michael Penix to begin with at all.
Do you guys think there's a solid chance they just roll with Pickett next year?
I think they're going to. I'm just gonna say that right now. I'm already expecting it.
Do you guys think Rudolph comes back?
No,
I think he's going to ask for too much.
exactly.
I mean, I think he not
And the
that he
Roonies are cheap.
necessarily deserves it, but I mean, he had a great last half to last year to where I think he deserves to ask for it.
No, for sure. And the Steelers are cheap. They're not going to.
The Roonies are cheap bastards.
Ryan Tannehill, welcome to the team. It's gonna happen. I'm just saying it. It's already guaranteed.
I'm going to hold out hope.
All right, hold on, time out. So, Jared,
Listen,
you're saying it's guaranteed. What happens if it's not? What happens if it doesn't happen? Since you're pulling out guarantees here.
Oh my goodness, and it's just expecting. It's a Steelers old set mindset. That's how I'm going. That's how I'm thinking here.
I can't wait until
This is why you're an Orlando Magic fan. You root for
I can't wait till you guys. I can't wait till you guys come into Cleveland week 9 and your starting quarterback is Davis Mills.
Oh God!
Like, it's gonna be chills.
What, giraffe neck?
Yes, and it's gonna be chills.
And I wouldn't be mad with other. There's other quarterbacks. Jacoby Brissett is out there, and I know there's a couple other good ones, but Mason's not coming back. He doesn't want to be here. I know that for damn sure.
But I can't wait. I can't wait for Ian Eagle to be like, Kenny Pickett down the field to George Pickens. Oh, he underthrew him by 20 yards.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyways,
And Denzel Ward's waiting right there for it. Oh.
Is Denzel going to be playing, or is he going to be hurt with another hamstring injury?
That's okay, because Marty will be there.
Who?
That's the luxury of having multiple good teams.
Okay.
You waited too long.
Don't care.
Right.
And George Pickens will be dogging Martin Emerson anyway. Herbert, go on ahead.
You got pick 21, Jeff.
Right here at we're going 3 for 3. I got Amarius Mims. I mean, Broderick Jones turned out great for Pittsburgh. Why not just try to collect them all? Grab Amarius Mims, stick them at left tackle, move him to right tackle. It doesn't matter. Get Dan Moore out of the starting lineup, and then in your third round, grab a guy like Cedric Van Pran out of Georgia at the center. I mean, you got two options here with Georgia offensive linemen in 2 different rounds. Might as well try to collect them.
I went with JPJ. I went with Jackson Powers Johnson, and hallelujah, we got our center. Simple as that. Pick 21, here we come.
And with pick 21, I had the Dolphins picking JPJ as well. Just easy to replace their center.
Yeah, at 21, I got the Miami Dolphins taking Troy Fontenot, the offensive tackle from Washington. I think with Miami, I think their offensive line needs some work. I don't think they have some health issues, and Fontenot can move to guard if he has to. He's got the size for it. So thanks, Parker, for. But yeah, I think you got Tua, you got your weapons. Now with Tua's injury history, I think you got to do whatever you can to protect him at this point. So if you truly believe he's the guy.
And like you said, Jarryd, I also have Jackson Powers Johnson here at 21 to Miami. Get somebody up there, replace that center position, fill the big need that they have. And I mean, as much as I love Jackson Powers Johnson, I truly believe that Pittsburgh is going to sign a center or draft somebody in the later rounds. The center class is deeper than I expected. There's quite a bit of names out there that you can get later in the rounds. Even sign one, but I have them going here. I have Jackson Powers Johnson going here to Miami and filling the big need that they have.
I have to agree with Hunter here. I have them going with Troy Fontenot, the offensive tackle from Washington. First off, fuck you, Hunter. I don't even know what you're saying.
Parker's back here saying that was my pick, Jeff.
I made that pick for him.
Yeah, actually, I forgot to say I lied that the Steelers are not drafting Jackson Powers Johnson. They're actually drafting Parker Osborne, the center from Elyria High School. But that'll end up being a terrible pick because he is awful and doesn't know how to snap. But no, Miami. I think this was the hardest pick I think so far out of this draft. I didn't know if I had them one going with an interior offensive lineman or an edge rusher. But I gave him someone that could do a little bit of everything in Troy Fontenot. He could play guard, he could play tackle. So I think in this case that just works out well for Miami, and they get Fontenot. Number 22, the Philadelphia Eagles without Jason Kelce. RIP to that career for a hell of a career.
Well, with the 22nd pick, the Eagles went with Nate Wiggins, the corner from Clemson. Makes, fits what they need. And Shout out to the car in your background.
Yeah, I
Lost
was
my
gonna say,
train.
what the hell you got going on? Need for speed over there?
Revving over there at the stop sign.
Jesus, I went with Nate Wiggins.
It's probably a
Just Nate.
95 Honda Civic.
It's a lot of those down here.
Yeah, I have the Philadelphia Eagles going corner here as well, but I have a different one. Probably my favorite draft name of all time. It's Kool-Aid McKinstry going here to the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's be honest here. The Eagles have a nice secondary. They really do, but Darius Slay is getting older. James Bradbury is getting a little bit older as well. So, I mean, we've seen the Eagles' ability to draft talent on the defensive side of the ball and able to develop it. So, you know, I think they target a corner here, and I think they go with Kool-Aid, and I think it'd be a nice pick for him.
I agree 100%. I've got Kool-Aid here. He was my my CB1 in the summer class. I think if you're Philadelphia and Kool-Aid is still on the board, you run up there and put that pick in as fast as you can. It fits a perfect need. The size, the build, everything is there for the corner that they need in Philadelphia to get that new era of young corners started.
Well, in this case, in my mock draft, Kool-Aid McKinstry is available at 22, and he will be available at 23. I actually have them going with Ennis Rakestraw, the corner from Missouri. That defense regressed a lot last year, and they have invested a lot in that D line as of late. So I think in this case, you need to go back and get yourself a corner. Now, could there be a chance that could a Zach Frazier hop into the mix here at pick number 22? I highly doubt it. I think in this case, they're just going to go with a corner here, and they get Ennis Rakestraw, the corner from Missouri. Number 23, the Houston Texans.
With the Houston Texans, I went with Johnny Newton, the defensive tackle from Illinois, and beef up that defensive line with Will Anderson. That'd be a great fit for them.
Yeah, so Jarryd, I don't know how in the hell you're looking at my stuff, but
Yeah, I'm convinced. Jarryd has looked at my mock drafts. He's looked at all of our mock drafts and just said, all right, I'm going to take a pick
you
from
know what the
here.
crazy? I think it's so crazy that this late into the draft that we've had the same picks because, like, I know it's legit too because I literally sat down earlier and did this, like, with no help.
I was doing this mock draft. Like, I changed it so many times, and then, like, at work, I was finishing this up, and I was like, okay.
You know what they say, Jarryd? Terrible minds think alike. So here we go. I also have them taking Johnny Newton here. I mean, what can you say about this Houston Texans team?
Mm-hmm.
You know, led by Ohio State legend C.J. Stroud. I think don't you start, Herb. I
Michigan
think
legend Nico Collins.
I think the offensive side of the ball, I think receiver could be a possibility here. But I think the defensive line needs an upgrade, and I think Johnny Newton, who I think could also potentially go a lot higher than this. I think this would be a very nice pick for the Houston Texans, and I think they beef up the D line here and go with him.
So for here with the Houston check Frazier, Sarah's hot. So here for the Texans, I have them going wide receiver Brian Thomas Jr., just adding another weapon for C.J. Stroud. You guys seen what he did with Nico Collins. If you get somebody in there like Brian Thomas, C.J. Stroud just even more of a threat. It's perfect. Get him an LSU boy, the guy that stood. Or if Malik Neighbors isn't there in LSU, Brian Thomas stands out. But with those, it's just a wide receiver duo there in LSU, and I think C.J. Stroud would absolutely love this pick. Gets him a star wide receiver.
I have to agree with Herb there. I have them going with Brian Thomas, the wide receiver from LSU. They have their franchise quarterback, C.J. Stroud. They need to continue to add weapons. You have Nico Collins. You have Tank Delba, who got hurt into the year last year. And now you get Brian Thomas. And now you have a 1-2-3 combo at receiver. And if you're C.J. Stroud, you have to absolutely love that. Number 24, the Dallas Cowgirls.
Man. I went with Tyler Guyton, the tackle from Oklahoma, just to make the offensive line a little bit younger for one of those tackles. That's just pretty much what they need.
Jeff, Parker and I are having a debate.
Oh
boy, here we go.
At 24, I have the Dallas Cowboys taking JC. Well, how do you say his last name?
Latham.
JC Latham.
Okay, I was wrong.
I
Yeah,
thought
I
it was
mean,
Latham
What?
too.
What? Latham?
I thought it
Latham,
was
Latham.
Latham.
We've heard it both.
I wasn't thinking either. I said Latham.
Oh wow.
Sorry, my THs aren't a specialty.
It's okay.
We could ask our friend Daniel. He loved saying the THs. So yeah, I got JC. How do you say it again? Latham.
JC Latham.
Latham. I have them going offensive tackle here. I mean, obviously Tyron Smith is gone. So I think they just try to replace him right away. I'm not a huge fan of JC Latham, but I think he, between him and Guyton, I think they're the two best offensive tackles left at this point. But I think they'll lean JC. So I think that's the pick here.
I agree. Everything you just said to a T. I'm not a big fan of JC, but I think Dallas takes him. I think if there's any team that can get him disciplined, it could be that Dallas ownership, that Dallas coaching staff. But I think he struggles too much with flags, too many pre-play penalties. But it's just, get a guy like JC in at Dallas, a bad mixed with a bad might turn out to be a positive.
First off, Paige, I agree. I do think Hunter needs to get some speech therapy. But for Dallas, I have them going with Tyler Guyton, the offensive tackle from Oklahoma. Tyron Smith, he's gone, obviously. And then you had Tyler Smith as well a couple years ago you drafted, but I think you could kick him into the inside. Now you have Guyton, or you can have them. You could have Tyler Guyton and Tyler Smith playing the opposite tackles of each other if you wanted to do that. So I think it gives them a little bit of versatility in terms of what they want to do on that offensive line. But at the end of the day, they have to go with offensive lines. Whoever it is, they have to have them. Number 25, the Green Bay Packers.
I went with JC Latham. Anyway, God, I did the same thing either way. But the tackle from Alabama, just help out Jordan Love in the offensive line. Just keep him protected.
Yeah, I have Green Bay going on the other side of the ball here, and I have them going with Coop. I got Cooper DeJean going here, and this is for all the white men out here playing corner safety. Let's be honest here. You look at Green Bay's secondary room. There's just overall, and it's not the strongest. I know Joe Barry wasn't a good defensive coordinator, but Jair Alexander's always hurt, it seems, or doing something. Eric Stokes wasn't healthy at all. Depth's just not there, and for a guy with the versatility of Coop to play safety, play corner, I think he's going to be a stud. So I think Coop's the pick here.
Yeah, so here with Green Bay, I have them going tackle as well. I have them going with Tyler Guyton. David Bakhtiari isn't getting any younger. You're going to have to think about a replacement coming in. Slide Tyler Guyton in a position who I think had an incredible Senior Bowl. It's just put him on the map. He was maybe a mid-second round talent to early third, and it's just really pushed him up the draft boards. I really like Tyler Guyton. If Mims isn't available at 20, I would love to have him. But I think Tyler Guyton here for Green Bay fits the need perfectly.
In this case, I actually had Amarius Mims dropping a little bit, and I have them going number 25 to the Green Bay Packers here. Just kind of piggyback of what you guys said there. You could use a right tackle, and I think Mims is the best available. I also had thought about another guy, Tyler Nubin, the safety from Minnesota. I thought about him possibly because they could use a safety as well, but when you have someone like Amarius Mims drop to you like this, you simply can't pass that up.
Mm-hmm.
Number 26, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I went with Latu here at 26 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They released Shaq Barrett. You got Yaya. What was it? I forgot the other guy on the other side. It was like a second round pick. He had a good season. Pair him up with Latu. Should be good for the Bucks.
You said Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Jeff, and Parker looks at me and goes, "Can he say that?"
I knew that Parker would say some type of shit.
It's his show. He can do what he wants. I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I have them going with Chop Robinson here. maybe a little higher than expected. I think maybe this could be the start of the range where he goes. I wouldn't also be surprised to see him fall into the second round. The Buccaneers' edge rushing last year was terrible. They were in the bottom 10 of the NFL in almost every pass rushing stat. So I think at this point of the draft, where you're kind of in the lower 20s, you bring Mike Evans back. I think it's not solidified, but I think we're pretty certain Baker Mayfield's going to return too.
Yep.
I think that offensive side of the ball is kind of okay for now. So I think you need to focus on the defense and the pass rushing. And I like Chop Robinson. I like Chop Robinson. So I think Chop Robinson's the pick here to Tampa Bay.
I think you just like saying Chop. You said Chop Robinson or you said Chop 85,000 times. Yeah, stay muted. All right, Herb, go ahead.
So for here with Tampa Bay, I think they're praying to the heavens that this guy fell into their lap at 26, let alone I've got Dallas Turner, edge out of Alabama. I have them slipping a bit. I mean, this tackle class and corner class is just actually insane that I think some of these edge rushers might get pushed to the wayside.
Yeah.
But I got Dallas Turner sliding here to Tampa Bay. I mean, it's a need for Tampa Bay. It's perfect, best player available. And that's who I got.
I have Tampa Bay going with Graham Barton, the guard from Duke. I think they really want to upgrade that interior of the offensive line, and they want someone that could play either guard or center, and they get just that. And I think there's precedent to that of drafting offensive linemen who have flexibility. Remember a couple years ago with Tristan Wirfs. He was a guy that we thought could play tackle or guard. They drafted him. Obviously, he's played tackle and he's played very well. So, and I think in this case, you get a similar guy who could play guard or center. And I think they would love that for Tampa Bay. Number 27, the Arizona Cardinals.
Arizona Cardinals. I just picked Kool-Aid McKinstry, the corner from Alabama. The Cardinals could need help anywhere. I just went with the best player availability, and I like Kool-Aid McKinstry's name. I hope he plays really well, though. Hopefully just not a popular name.
Yeah, I think I got the same side of the ball, but I'm going a little different here. I got the Arizona Cardinals taking Byron Murphy here, the defensive tackle from Texas. I mean, at this point of the draft, you get your franchise wide receiver, you get your offensive weapons. Now I think it's time to focus on the defensive side of the ball a little bit. The Cardinals' defensive line is not good. It's one of the few areas that they need to vastly improve, and I like the value here for Byron Murphy at 27. I don't know if he'll fall this far, but if he does, I think Arizona will be all over him, and I think it's a great value pick for them.
Yeah, so here at 27 for Arizona, I have them going corner, Cooper DeJean, another best player available, sliding right into their lap. You get a need in there for Arizona, their defense has just been atrocious. You get somebody on the back end that can really defend the ball. I don't like the narrative that he should play safety. I think dude is a corner through and through, and I think he fits Arizona perfectly.
I went with Darius Robinson here, the edge rusher from Missouri. I agree with a lot of what Hunter said in terms of first off, fuck you. And second off, I agree with a lot of what Hunter said in terms of they need to vastly improve that defensive line. And they were 30th in sacks last year. Their edge rusher, Jesus, I'm the one that has a speech impediment, I guess. Their edge rushers are not that great at all. And so you need a first-round talented guy, and that's exactly what you get with Darius Robinson, who's a guy who's been rising, I feel like, as of late, too. Number 28, the Buffalo Bills, who decided to just have an absolute fire sale and just cut absolutely everybody.
Everybody right before we think. I went with Donnie Mitchell, the wide receiver from Texas. Gabe Davis, probably most likely not coming back. Pair him up with Stephon Diggs. As long as you have Josh Allen, you're probably going to keep on winning games.
Yeah, well, Jarryd, this is getting kind of scary now. I have a Donnie Mitchell also going to Buffalo. I mean, let's be honest here. Even last year, I mean, the receiving core was not that good. Very underwhelming when you got a guy like Josh Allen. Gabe Davis is a free agent. Stephon Diggs had a very, very poor second half of the year. So, I mean, they got to do whatever they can to make sure they keep weapons around Josh Allen. And a run game that already isn't the best. I know James Cook kind of finished in the top 5-10 of rushing yards last year, but that was bullshit. So we all know if Nick Chubb didn't get his knee taken out, he would have finished first by a long shot.
Here we go.
But yeah, I think you just got to add more playmakers on this offense. I think Donnie Mitchell is a great pick here for Buffalo, and hopefully Stephon Diggs returns to form next year and can make a great 1-2 pairing.
See, I thought about receiver here with A.D. Mitchell, Lad McConkey, Troy Franklin, these top receivers still left on the board. But I went a different route. I went a different side of the ball, and I went safety. They cut Jordan Poyer. They're going to need help on that defensive end or defensive back secondary area they cut Jordan Poyer, got rid of Tre'Davious White. They're going to need bring in some more ammunition for that secondary to really still stay afloat with their defense.
I went with a Donnie Mitchell here, and I'm going to I'm just setting up a joke for Parker for while those two are muted. I'm going to eat my words on something I said in our group chat a little bit ago. Yes, I knew a joke was coming.
You said
me eating.
You said I'm going to eat my words. Parker goes, I bet.
Yeah, that's why I said I set myself up perfectly for you. Go fuck yourself, Parker. I'm going to eat my words about what I said. And what I said about that is right before I had thought that Donnie Mitchell was going to be more of an early day 2 pick, and I stood on business on that, but I changed my mind. I admit that I was wrong. And Justin, you could go fuck yourself too. And I thought they need a receiver badly, and Donnie Mitchell killed it at the combine. And so this just is a wide receiver need with Stephon Diggs going downhill, or he's starting to go downhill a little bit. Gabe Davis is a free agent. This just smells like a wide receiver need. Number 29, the Detroit Lions.
See, with the Detroit Lions, I went with Chop Robinson, the edge from Penn State. Pair him up with Aiden Hutchinson on the other side. I think that's going to be a great duo in the future with that defense.
Yeah, I have the Detroit Lions at 29 going with Ennis Rakestraw here. The cornerback room's still a little thin for them. They brought Emmanuel Mosley back, but he's coming off an injury. Cam Sutton, I think, is going to be more of a slot corner, so they need more guys on the outside. So I think Ennis Rakestraw is probably the best. It was kind of a toss-up here between Ennis Rakestraw and Kamari Lassiter, but I like Rakestraw more as a prospect. So I think Ennis Rakestraw is the pick here for the Lions, and I really like this pick for him.
I agree. I think Cam Sutton did his best work when he was more of in the slot rather than being on those number 1 or number 2 guys. So I also have Ennis Rakestraw here. I debated on getting Graham Barton in here. I like him. Like you said earlier, he's more of a guard than I think he is tackle. But I thought that maybe they'd go corner here and at least be able to get Cam Sutton back in his natural habitat, because he didn't look anywhere near than what he did in Pittsburgh last year because he just had to play outside.
I went with Kool-Aid McKinstry here. I went with need specific here. Their biggest need was an outside corner, and that's exactly what they get here. 31st in pass defense, 25th in points allowed, and 30th in yards per pass. And you could also make an argument that they could go with a pass rusher here, like a Chop Robinson. But I think corner is exactly what they needed to come out of day 1 here, and that's exactly what they get. Is they get their outside corner and Kool-Aid McKinstry. Number 30, the Baltimore Ravens.
The Ravens, I went with Graham Barton, the offensive lineman for Duke. I think, would definitely could play guard or center. And I think they have a couple of free agents in the O-line, if I'm not mistaken. See if they would come back or not. But I know we, hate picking for our rivals, but it'd be a great fit for the Ravens.
Yeah, I have the Baltimore Ravens also going offense here, but at a different position. I have the Baltimore Ravens taking the 40-yard dash champ. I haven't taken Xavier Worthy here. I don't think the Ravens receiving room is strong at all. I didn't think it was last year, but hey, they made it all the way to the AFC title game. Odell Beckham Jr., Browns legend, won't be back next year. I don't think he's going to be. So behind Zay Flowers, they re-signed Nelson Aguilar, but behind Zay Flowers, you can't really rely on Rashad Bateman, I don't think, because he's always injured or he's too inconsistent. So I think you go and add some more speed to this Ravens offense, which did the same thing last year when you had Zay Flowers, and look how it turned out. So I like Xavier Worthy as a prospect. I actually wanted the Browns to maybe look at him in the second round, but after his combine, ain't no way he falls there. So I think you pair Xavier Worthy and Zay Flowers for Lamar Jackson. I think wonderful things can happen for the Ravens. And I hate making good picks for division rivals, but Xavier Worthy's the pick here.
Yeah, at the same position in wide receiver. They really could go any route. These top wide receivers still left on the board or can really pan out for Baltimore. I have them taking Ladd McConkey out of Georgia. He, aside from the top heavy, the big three, he's one of my favorite wide receiver prospects. And if he ends up in Baltimore, I'm going to be really heartbroken. Ladd is he's a monster for his size. He's a great wide receiver. I think his ceiling is very high. If there's any chance he comes out, did heroin and drops in the second round, would love for Pittsburgh to pick him up.
Jesus Christ.
What the hell? I actually have them going with the defensive side of the ball. I have them going with Adisa Isaac, the edge rusher from Penn State. Clowney and Kyle Van Noy are both free agents.
You don't even know who that is, Jeff.
Yeah, okay. And I don't think that they're going to bring either one or both of them back. I think they're both going to end up getting decent-sized paydays. And you could have bookend Penn State pass rushers with Isaac and Owe. And then on top of that, you have David Ajabo, who's coming back from injury. We don't know what he's going to be like. So you have a three-headed monster of young pass rushers in that division. And we know pass rushers, especially in the AFC North, are very important. And you simply have to, I think in this case, you go with the pass rusher here, and they get Adisa Isaac from Penn State. Number 31, the NFC champion San Francisco 49ers, who me, Jarryd, and Herb witnessed kick our ass week 1 last year.
God. So much money lost. Anyways, I have the Niners picking Jordan Morgan, the tackle from Arizona. Just based on versatility, can play anywhere on the offensive line, can either left or right tackle. That's it. I've not just else to say.
So in the game, I'm sure you guys have all played Pong before.
Mm-hmm.
Play beer pong. So in beer pong, you have celebrity shots where you can pick someone to take a shot for you. Well, for this, I'm going to let Parker take number 31 right here. So Parker,
here we go. This is going to be entertaining.
So at pick 31, I have the San Francisco 49ers taking Tyler Guyton out of Oklahoma. I think he is just a big mauler. He is a great player. Obviously, Trent Williams is getting older. He's 35. Colt McKivitz isn't holding it down at right tackle. And Brock Purdy needs to be protected. Also, I think he's a great run blocker. He's tall. He can move. Also, little shout out to myself. I had DeJuan Jones as the best tackle in the draft last year, so you could kind of call me a tackle whisperer. That's all I have. Thank you.
More of a wizard of Tackle Bell, but
all right, buddy. I'm not done
yet.
So for here for the 49ers, I just have the rich getting richer. I have them taking A.D. Mitchell. I don't think they'll be able to retain Brandon Ayuk and with Deebo Samuel.
Oh my gosh. Jesus Christ, every time.
Just watching him tear up that Pittsburgh defense, I'd like him to go anywhere but the AFC North. He just went off week 1, but I think he's going to want to go somewhere else and if you bring in a guy like A.D. Mitchell, you get the speed back, you get somebody in there for wide receiver 2. I think it takes more targets. Deebo Samuel is going to get double covered no matter what. But if you put A.D. Mitchell in there, I think that really opens up more than having Brandon Ayuk.
Deebo Samuel is also a Brown.
Well, here we go. I think if there's 4 guarantees in life, death. Actually, there's 5. There's death, taxes, Parker eating, Ryan Blaney sucking in a race, and Jarryd stealing my draft picks because I also went with Jordan Morgan here. This seems like just such a guaranteed pick.
Yeah.
Trent Williams is getting old. Morgan can play tackle. He can play all over the damn place. So he's going to be able to play day one until Williams retires.
Mm-hmm.
My analysis.
He said what?
My analysis. You literally took what I just said. I thought you were supposed to be a draft expert, Todd McMilkshake.
I knew it. We're not.
Oh, let's go to Kansas City.
The last pick, I just have the Kansas City Chiefs get a weapon, Xavier Worthy, the receiver from Texas. They just need a receiver that can catch the ball. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Do you work for like the government or something and hack into people's shit?
Why did you also have Xavier Worthy, Jeff?
I'm just gonna jump in real quick. I also had Xavier Worthy, but we'll talk about that here in a minute. Hunter, you could go ahead.
I had them taking a receiver here, but it was not Xavier Worthy, as he's already gone off my board. I have the Kansas City Chiefs taking Ladd McConkey here. I think Ladd McConkey is going to be a stud in the NFL, and I think the last thing he needs to do is go to the Kansas City Chiefs for our sake. And if this does happen, which I do think there's a good possibility it will, I think he's going to be a star in Kansas City. He's a fluid athlete. Really caught my eye in the semifinal game against Ohio State. Not this last year, but the year before, and I've kind of been following him ever since. And, I think he was another guy that, we talked about Quinion Mitchell earlier with how he rised in the Senior Bowl and the Combine. I think Ladd McConkey did the same thing. I think before this, he was kind of a second, third round pick. And I think he's really played his way into maybe end of the first, top of the second round pick. And I'm a big fan of Ladd McConkey, and I think it'd be a very, very good pick for the Chiefs here.
Yeah, I agree with the wide receiver. I've got the Chiefs getting richer with Xavier Worthy. I mean, it just seems like it's written on the wall. Somebody who ran the fastest 40 time in history is going to fall to Kansas City. They're going to walk away with a great wide receiver at 32, whether it is Ladd McConkey, A.D. Mitchell, Xavier Worthy. I think it's bound to happen. Troy Franklin. It's bound to happen at some point, and I think it's going to be one of those four.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to happen.
Yeah. So obviously I said already that I had them going with Xavier Worthy because Jarryd stole another one of my picks when he hacked into my shit. But I think one thing with their wide receivers that they've really been missing is just that explosiveness that Tyreek Hill brought. And that's exactly what you get with Xavier Worthy. And I think next year you get that back. And I think their offense is going to look like a Kansas City offense again. And that's already terrifying enough because they won a Super Bowl in a year that we thought it was going to be a down year. So we don't know what the hell's going to happen with them. This is just not what the NFL needs, but it's going to happen anyway. Yep. And that is it. That concludes the marathon. That is the 2024 Renegade Roundtable Mock Draft 1.0. It's always fun talking shit with each other, just talking, analyzing, and having a State of the Union address going on in our chat. Those are always fun as well. So other than that, is there anything else that we want to get into in terms of just the overall NFL free agency before we get on out of here? Or
what are we doing?
By the way, I did realize that I'm pretty sure I don't think anyone in here had Bo Nix going round one, if I'm not mistaken.
Thank God.
Yeah, thank God. And that's something that I think is interesting.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I did almost have a weak moment where I almost had the Broncos taking him at 12 or whatever pick, just because I don't know. Like after what I heard, what Schefter said a couple days ago, that he thinks at least five, maybe 6 quarterbacks go in the first round. I mean, obviously around the draft, there's a lot of smoke screens, a lot of shit said, but I mean, I think if I was a betting man, 100% 4. I think those top 3 and McCarthy will be the 4 guys. Absolutely. Yep. I think there's a chance Nix and Penix can go. Obviously, according to us, the 4 of us, I mean, we don't think it'll happen, but you never know, man.
I hope not.
And if it does happen, just not to the Steelers.
Just not Steelers.
Well, I mean, those two could go. I mean, there might be 7 quarterbacks because you guys are taking Rattler at 20. So, I mean,
No, then we might as well just go ahead and say 8, and Sam Hartman is going. So, might as well just keep on going.
Free agency, then is it just? What do you think? What position keys?
You bet all the time. What you mean if I was a betting man?
don't let her lie to you, Jeff. Don't let her lie to you. I do not bet all the
Like,
time.
who is that?
Yeah, who's Paige? I don't know who that is. That's my
Oh boy. Yeah, I think that's what's interesting.
That's my lovely girlfriend. I think I should say that before I get yelled at.
Yes, yeah, you end up in the doghouse.
No, it's like a fight after this one.
But I think when you talk about like some of the like you get into like some of the other prospects that could go into round 2 that are still very good prospects. You got Xavier Legette, the wide receiver from South Carolina, Troy Franklin, Devontae Walker from UNC, and then Keon Coleman is another guy that. Keon Coleman is a guy that we thought easily could have gone round 1 and still can. And here he goes. And then in terms of the offensive tackles and like the corners, there's just so many different prospects that you could think of. I mean, there's TJ Tampa, Kalen King, Josh Newton. I mean, and then obviously you have guys like Tavondre Sweat, Chris Jenkins. I know that's Herb. Leonard Taylor. There's so many different guys that is going to be able to go, and they're very, very good prospects.
If the Browns can somehow in round 2 walk away with either Keon Coleman or Troy Franklin, I would be a very happy man. Very happy
Or
man.
Spencer Rattler.
No, I don't. That's he's going 20 to Pittsburgh. He won't be there.
Well, it doesn't matter because whoever you got drafted at receiver ain't going to be good because you guys can't develop them for shit. So
I know. Don't even get me started. Anthony Schwartz.
But anyways,
Anthony Schwartz, David Bell.
Oh God.
David Bell. I think the jury's still out on David Bell. He had a great finish to the season. He just don't play a lot.
It's unfortunate. But still, as Steeler fans, like what position are we really going for in free agency?
Everything.
I know. I wish we could go everything.
I think you got to go quarterback, center, and corner.
Do you think linebacker as well? We have to sign one more.
Wouldn't mind it. Baker out of Miami. I think he's really good. I think he'd be a solid linebacker to add, but we don't have that much cap space to really do and fill a whole lot of needs.
No, I don't know a lot of needs. It's just a couple pieces.
Right.
I've been saying after every player you guys name, I've been saying Brown. Mm-hmm. But, I think Jerome Baker being from Cleveland and where did he go, Ignatius? Did he go to Ignatius? Benedictine, same thing. He's from Cleveland, so I think Brown. He's a Brown. Okay. So, but yeah, no, I think after you guys, why did my girlfriend just text me and said, did you draft Sam Hartman? No, I did not draft Sam. So, but no, I think as a Browns fan looking on the outside for you guys, I think that you guys are in a better spot than I think a lot of people like to admit. Mm-hmm. I know, like as Brown fans, I know we like to shit on you guys because Kenny Pickett's your quarterback, which I will continuously do that if he is. But
it's going to be.
You guys, I think you guys are legit. I don't want to say a quarterback away, but
it's pretty damn close.
I think you guys are trying to be quarterback away. But I'm not trying to be biased here or anything, but I feel like we're a quarterback away too.
Yeah, for sure. You guys have a great defense. I like you guys' defense and your O-line. And with Nick Chubb, if Nick Chubb was still playing, you guys would still be really good.
Yeah, and that's the thing too is like, you guys look at, your guys' quarterback history, having Big Ben for so long. Yeah. And, I think we both have had great histories with quarterbacks. So I think that, finding the next one should not be that hard. I think we both have success with it. So, I don't know. I think the AFC North is going to be another battle this year. I think Cincinnati's just going to come back and be as good as they were before. I was telling Jeff this the other day, and I think that might be, barring free agency in the draft, something crazy happening. I think it wouldn't surprise me if Baltimore kind of falls a little bit. I don't think – I'm not saying this year was necessarily a Cinderella run, but
Yep.
I think they lost a lot of decent key pieces on their defense. They lost their defensive coordinator, a couple of their defensive coaches. But then again, Jeff, we did say that last year too. We didn't think they'd have that great of a year, and here they are. I mean, they're the Baltimore Ravens. That's the thing I hate about the Ravens and the Steelers. They always find a way to be 500 or better, or they always just do enough, and it pisses me off. That fucking Mike Tomlin devil magic.
I think one thing I want to bring up too, real quick, is the rumors going around about Deontay Johnson. Because now, obviously, whether you want to read into those or not, it was one of those things where it just became the typical war zone between Steeler Twitter in terms of Deontay Johnson. Because if you said that you were okay with trading him, well, then you just absolutely hated him, this, that, and the third, blah, 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 blah. And the way I looked at it was, listen, Deontay Johnson's a great player. I like him a lot. I am not one of those Deontay Johnson haters. But depending on what you're able to get for him with 1 year left, if you're able to get a mid-round pick for him, why not?
Yep. And you can always draft another, which I have a feeling we're going to draft another.
Yeah, there you go. And you could use whatever.
Like and then the Steelers looking at all the top receivers in the combine. That's out of the ordinary. I don't think they just do that. To do their due diligence. I think it's kind of true with, trading Deontay Johnson. It's a possibility. They looked at what? They looked at all the top receivers, Roman Dunze. They looked at just some of the guys' names just on the top of my head.
I think that Roma Dunze one really stands out because he's clearly out of our reach. Yeah. So for them to go out of their way and look into somebody like Rome kind of plants the seed of the possibility of them trading up for him.
Which, let me ask you this, because I know last year, Herb was one of those guys that wanted Jordan Addison. And obviously at that time I was very adamant against that. I didn't think that they should have gone with a receiver at all under any circumstances. This year, I'm not as much into that, but I'm still in a way against going after a receiver in round one, only because I would rather them really focus on trying to get one of those offensive linemen, whether it's one of the tackles, Zach Frazier, Jackson Powers-Johnson, or do you really trust Cedric Van Pran from Georgia, and do you think you'll be able to get him in one of those later rounds? So it's just one of those things, and I just think there's bigger needs, quote unquote. But
would you rather them stay at 20 and take Mims or Powers-Johnson rather than trading up and taking like Odunze if they had the opportunity?
I think I would rather stay put.
And I agree.
I don't know if I agree with that. I think
it's tough.
It's because,
what are we giving up?
And here's the thing too, Herb, real quick. I want to say this. It seems like it's similar to last year with you're getting a toy that you really want versus a need. And I think there are bigger needs, and plus you would be losing draft capital. I'm not sure if I'm willing to trade up and lose draft capital for a guy that's not literally our number one need.
But what if that draft capital term? I mean,
if it's worth it, worth the draft, if it's worth it, yeah, I get where you're coming from.
If you trade Deontay Johnson for that mid-round pick and turn around and use that mid-round pick to trade up for Roma Dunze, I mean, it's a wash.
I think you to go from 20 to let's just say nine. I mean, you got to think you're going to have to give up more than whatever you got.
But it didn't take that much to trade up to get Devin Bush with Denver a couple years ago.
It was like a 3 and a 5.
Yeah, it was a first, 3 and a 5.
A fifth of next year.
Mm-hmm. The year
after. So
we saw how that went. Maybe, and you know what? And I can admit, maybe this is just the old school, typical Steeler way of thinking. But if you're willing to trade up for one of the real top tier tackles, I would be all on board with that. But I don't think that's the case. And I would just, I don't know. I think I'm stuck on. I would rather draft an offensive lineman.
No, I totally agree. But if we're gonna trade, I could see we swap first Deontay Johnson.
Now, if you want to use Deontay Johnson in a way to do that.
That's what I think.
And maybe give up like a later round draft pick, like if you swap first round picks, you get Deontay Johnson like a 6th or something. Okay, then I might be a more on board with that. But
we have back-to-back 5th round picks. I really don't see us standing put on using both of them. I think it's 5th, maybe it's 4th.
Wow,
it's 4th round picks.
That'd be a swap first Deontay and a 5th or 4th. I guess that makes sense, but it depends if the other team agrees, of course. But I see that would be okay if Omar Carr can pull his magic like he did the last time. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, 2/4 is what it is.
So I'm not against it. I just rather I'm with you, Kirby. I'd rather just stay at 20 and take the for sure right tackle in Marius Mims.
There was just I know you guys don't give a shit because it's the Browns, but Locke and Fora were just released an article and said multiple GMs have said that the Browns have made it clear that they are open to dealing one of their top cornerbacks as they try to balance salaries after years of heavy spending. So I'm going to assume it's probably Greg Newsome, but
Denzel Ward.
I mean, they could pull a stunner. I mean, I don't think they'll trade Denzel Ward, but if they really are like, I mean, screw it, it'd be kind of fun to see.
Yeah.
I do think Newsome does get dealt this offseason. I think he's probably like our Deontay Johnson for you guys, kind of just waiting to see what happens. I don't know. I'm excited though. It feels weird. For a couple years we haven't had any quarterback wars. I mean, it's kind of poetic that the Cleveland Browns finally we don't have to talk about quarterbacks, but our quarterback's still shit. So.
No, I was gonna say because I obviously with some of the Browns people that I do follow, it seems like they still talk about Baker and all that, and it's just
Jeff every day on Twitter. It's the Baker Bros versus the Watson Warriors. It's insane. Oh my god!
It's how it is with Steeler Twitter. It's the Justin Fields lovers and the Kenny Pickett lovers, and it's an all-out war. And it's an all-out war of, oh, you don't want the guy that I like? Well, you're not a real fan, you piece of what, it's just like.
I will say I do get my daily dose of entertainment from Alicia Dawn.
Oh boy.
Clamoring for Justin Fields every day, and then just absolutely going ape shit on the Pitt fans that want to keep Pickett. I love it. It's so entertaining. I'm like, wow, finally the Steelers get to have the quarterback conversation. It's great. I love it.
Man, those Pickett defenders, some of them are
they're nuts.
They're insane.
Like, I'm not gonna go all in for Pickett. Like, he has excuses, I guess, but he still didn't play well. He had maybe a game and a half he played well this season. And that's after Matt Canada got fired. That's what I'm going off of right now. 13
touchdowns in 2 years?
Yep.
That is Johnny Manziel on blow numbers. It's just you simply can't. You just simply cannot go and play forward with them.
I don't think they're going to do anything.
You can't, but we all know how this goes. Everyone in the organization could be clamoring for a new quarterback, and Art Rooney will say, No, we're sticking with Kenny.
No, and that's what I think is going to happen. We're going to suffer
that's
for one more year.
Serious franchise.
Suffer one more year, and what? Do we want a losing season? Is that what we want?
I would rather win 3 games than go 9-8 again.
You know what? And I will still admit, after that Patriots game last year, that Thursday night game, I went out and said I was okay if we were to lose the rest of the year.
That was my favorite single game.
Huh? What'd you say, Hunter?
My favorite game of the year.
I bet it was. If we would have lost every single game the rest of the year, I would have been cool with it because we would have been a better shot at a quarterback or of some sort.
Is not rooting for us to lose. We always want to win. We want to feel good for ourselves. That's how it is. We just want to feel good. When we lose, we feel like shit, terrible.
And a lot. Now, luckily for someone like me, where I have been around Browns fans my whole life, so I have learned what it's like for those losers to lose, or with Herb, with always losing a lot with Michigan, and or Jarryd with the Orlando Magic and that poverty franchise. So we've we all got our little taste of knowing what it's like to lose, but in terms of the NFL, it's just
NFL is just, I'd rather lose. I'm not saying I don't want it to happen, but we have Kenny Pickett rolling out. You better play good. That's all you're really hoping for. You're hoping Arthur Smith changes him in 1 year.
I think I have a better chance of getting a 6-pack in 5 minutes than that happening. And as Parker back there is looking like a fucking third base coach.
He's doing sketch, Jeff. Hello, brother. Get hit the sketch, please, Jeff.
But I don't know. We'll see what happens. Free agency starts. Tampering's on Monday. So I'm sure we're going to find out a lot what happens with these free agents where they go to. It's going to be interesting. I'm excited. I'm nervous. It's just another one of those seasons.
Yeah, it might be fun. It's gonna be fun to see how the Steelers are gonna somehow get every single free agent with $9 million. But we're gonna find a way to do it. And
is it 9? I thought it was closer to 12.
I thought I saw today it was 9, but it could 9 to 12 million, somewhere in that range. We're gonna somehow find a way to get every single free agent, and 2025 Super Bowl is going to Pittsburgh, and that is that. And then the Browns are going to be going 0-17, by the way, and somehow still lose a first-round pick in somehow, some way. I don't know how, but they're going to.
We play you guys twice this year, so we aren't going 0-17.
And you guys are still going 0-17. All right, I think that is about it for this episode. Yeah. I do want to say thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I hope you guys did enjoy. These shows are always a blast to do. I hope you guys enjoyed again. Smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a comment. And until then, hope you guys have a great weekend. Stay safe. And got to go through my usual spiel of go Steelers. Fuck the Browns. Fuck Michigan. Fuck the Yankees. Fuck the Magic. Fuck Ryan Blaney. And why did you get literal shit tatted on your hand?
Yeah, I don't know. The Pirates are kind of garbage.
Paige, I completely agree with you there. The Browns suck. So it's fuck them. But until then, have a great weekend. Stay safe. Peace out.